This is Fanalysis, where we combine the in-depth analytics of fantasy football with the data of sports betting to find you the sharpest angles. And for that, we bring in a sports betting analyst from Pickswise. Jared Smith, week one of the NFL season is here. We're getting it right. And looking at your top plays of the week. And in the first week of the season, I feel like sharps can find the better angles because maybe that's where the data doesn't necessarily match up with the media narrative. I mean, we've all seen the stories about how the Texans are a mess. They've got a fire sale. Their quarterback is in trouble off the field. And now they open up as a 3-point home dog to the worst team in football last year, Jacksonville. Explain this to everybody out there.
Well,
Educate.
when you look at this game,
be our teacher.
It's honestly, it takes a sharp mind, but it also takes a mind to block out all of that noise, because you're right. All we've heard all summer, the Texans are going to be the worst team in the NFL. No Deshaun Watson, this and that. Guess who's also heard that all summer? The Texans players. I'm sure they're a little bit upset about that. I do expect them to show some pride in this game. And the trend that I really like, Steve, home divisional underdogs in week one over the last 10 years, 76% against the spread. That tells me that if you're at home and you're catching points against a team that you're very familiar with, obviously Texans against the Jaguars, AFC South matchup, I think Houston is a very live pooch in this one. I would absolutely bet them against the spread. Don't mind a sprinkle on the money line either.
Well, let's not forget, this is a Jacksonville team that lost their starting running back and Travis Etienne to an injury, so they're going to be leaning even more on a rookie quarterback in week one.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily trust a rookie quarterback or a rookie head coach in Overmyer. And I know Overmyer's had a ton of success at the collegiate level, but I could probably count on one hand how many coaches have made that leap to the NFL and have continued that success. So I don't trust a road divisional favorite, quarterback by a rookie, head coached by a rookie. And then, oh, by the way, you've got all the narrative that we just talked about with Houston. The Jags were in this exact same spot last year. They were a big underdog week one against the Colts. They won that game outright, and then they lost 15 straight. So I could see that playing out for Houston. They come out strong, and then you see them fade into, I would assume, oblivion down the stretch.
Yeah, it looks like it could be a tough year for Houston, but maybe not in week one. All right, let's see if you like the debut of another rookie quarterback in Mac Jones. The Patriots are 3-point favorites at home against Miami. What's your angle here?
Yeah, well, I think Mac Jones, based on all the bookmakers we talked to, a lot higher upside than Cam Newton. So we did see a little fluctuation in the market. Not only did Cam Newton lose the starting job, he got shipped out of town completely. To me, that shows strength for New England. It shows confidence with Bill Belichick and Mac Jones. And again, it's these home divisional games. I like teams at home week one, especially in divisional matchups. The Pats are good in this spot. They're traditionally a fast starting team, 7-3-1 against the number since 2010, 3 straight covers. I think week one, I favor Bill Belichick. I don't necessarily trust Tua on the road either. That's another thing to keep in mind this year. Miami could be a make or break situation with that second year quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, under center.
Yeah, I get that, but this is also, you have to imagine that there's going to be some growing pains with a rookie quarterback, even in New England when you've got Bill Belichick. And let's not forget, Miami upgraded around Tua, and Miami has built themselves up over the past 2 years. In fact, we're not very far away from being a playoff team last year. Does it scare you a little bit because Miami will be looking at this game as their Super Bowl, as their statement game to prove that this division is theirs?
Yeah, I mean, I do think that that is the angle to make. That's the argument to make for Miami. But I would also argue that they were in the same spot last year. And in this game, they only scored 11 points. And granted, that was with Fitzpatrick at quarterback. Tua hadn't come in yet. But I do think New England just seems to play well in these spots. I think the defense will be better as well. Bill Belichick, obviously, we're talking about Mac Jones. We're not talking a lot about the Patriots defense, which really struggled last year. I do think that unit will also be better this season.
Yeah, they definitely made some upgrades. In fact, it's pretty clear that the Patriots are much better on the trenches on both sides of the ball for this game. So this might end up just being one of those ground and pound 13-10 slugfest that we've come to see in the AFC East year in and year out. All right, now to the Eagles. They're getting 3 in Atlanta. Here's another young quarterback in Jalen Hurts, and he's on the road. So what stands out when you look at this one?
The Falcons do not play well when they're supposed to win. They don't play well to start the season, and they're not a team under Matt Ryan, at least over the last few years, that have performed well as a favorite. just 7-15 against the number in the last 3 years. So I look at the Eagles coming in as an underdog, finally healthy, especially up front. And I think Jalen Hurts, with that full offseason, remember, he had and at the quarterback position, there's so much mental acuity that you need. Remember at the end of last year when he got benched and there was all those ins and outs, and they brought in Gardner Minshew, but they've made it clear that he's the backup. Jalen Hurts has gotten a full offseason with a healthy complement of weapons and a healthy offensive line. I think Philly might be slightly undervalued, not only in this game, but also in the division as well.
In the division as well. You think that, look, I mean, that division was up for grabs. It feels like for
wide
the past handful of years. So, you know, this is, you talk about getting off on the right foot. I mean, that's what sports bettors have to identify early on. Because there's no data in that first week of the season, you have to rely on either something that you saw in the preseason or something you saw in years past. Is that why you're leaning towards Philly?
I think it's the health. And, you know, we talked a little bit last week about the 49ers and just how I think they were just unlucky last year. And I know that's not a word that, you know, that I like to use a lot in the gambling world, because I like to make decisions that's kind of outside of the realm of luck. But there is an element of luck to any season, especially the NFL. It's an oblong shaped ball that bounces in funny directions. The Eagles were snake bitten so hard by injuries last year. They're finally healthy, at least for now. We'll see if that lasts through a very, you know, a long NFL season that's a little bit longer this year. But I think health has such an important factor when it comes to confidence, when it comes to continuity, and Philly right now is healthy.
All right, you have a very special bet for us as well, a teaser. This allows you to play, I guess it allows you to move the line one way or another, but you must combine it with another teaser game as well. So, which two teams are you teasing this week?
Yeah, so the teasers to me present value because in the NFL, unlike any other sports, I get asked about college football and the NBA. Those totals are a lot higher than NFL totals. NFL totals tend to be in the 40s, college football, 50s, 60s. We've seen 70s, NBA, obviously, way more points. So the points in the NFL are very valuable. So you're giving me an opportunity to move those numbers in my favor. And in the NFL, certain points are worth more than others. 3 and 7 are worth significantly more than others because the most common landing spots for NFL scores are 3 and 7. So I get to move two teams in the best division in football, the NFC West, the Rams and the 49ers, and I get to move them through the numbers, those key numbers of 7 and 3. Right now, both teams are favored by about 7.5, 8 points. So we're going to move both lines down to under 3, 1, 1.5, 2, depending on, again, where you do your shopping. But I love both of those spots this week. The Niners get the lowly Lions. They are dreadful on defense, or excuse me, they're dreadful on offense, one of the worst skill position groups I've ever seen on any roster. And then the Rams get to feast on a terrible offensive line in Chicago and Andy Dalton. We'll see if it's his first and last start with Chicago. But I expect both of those NFC West powerhouses to be very up to the task this week. And
is it worth it? Because that teaser is going to be like a plus 125, plus 140 possibly to hit that teaser. Is it worth it to do that as a teaser versus just two straight up bets? What's the value there?
Yeah, so the teasers, you do have to pay for them. So that's why you always want to try to move through key numbers. Usually you lay about 10 to 20 cents on a teaser, which is about what you would normally lay for a regular NFL bet. If you were just to parlay Rams 49ers, you would get almost 3 to 1, plus 250, plus 260 for that. So you have to ask yourself, yeah, at 7.5, but they have to then cover the 8-point spread. So you have to ask yourself, is it worth it? And in the way that I analyze the numbers, to me, 7 and 3 is everything. And if I don't have to worry about covering the spread, in this case, the 49ers and Rams just basically have to win the games. I feel like that is a very valuable bet when you know the teams themselves do not care about covering the spread. All they care about is that one in the left side of the column that says win.
That's right. That's how grinders win in NFL. That's how the sports bettors who are doing this week in and week out win, is they find angles that can help you, come out on the right side of it. It might not be a 3 to 1 win here for you, but you're at least going to be on the plus side of things.
Correct. And that's the goal. The goal is just to stack up good bets.
Right.
I say this every day. I might not win. I might make 10 bets and lose all of them. But if all 10 of them are good bets, I feel like I had a good day.
Well, that's a look at his top plays of the week, including a teaser. Check out our other segment, our other Week 1 segment, to hear his thoughts on the Jets and Giants. For Jared Smith of Pickswise, I'm Steve Overmyer. This is Fanalysis.